What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. Before I get started, I'm gonna do a sound check just to make sure that everything is good on the sound. I was going to do some other content. I was going to speak on. Let me see. I was going to speak on Stephen A. Smith. I had some stuff to talk about Stephen A. Smith. Let me see who else. I had a few things about Dennis Rodman. I was going to do some content about Dennis Rodman, but I think the Caitlin Clark situation is more, it's more newsworthy to me. Like it just to me, the Caitlin Clark situation just really just took center stage. So I'm gonna really more so focus on what's going on with Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever before more so than any of the other content that I had. I was in here watching the football game, the Steelers playing the Carolina Panthers. Let me see what the score to this game is. I guess it was 7-3 the Panthers way, but now the Steelers just scored. So it's tied up. It's 10-10. The Steelers and the Panthers are tied up at 10-10. But yeah, let me do a sound check before I get. Okay, all right. So my sound sounds pretty good. So I'm gonna go right into the Caitlin Clark situation and everything. So basically, just like I've been telling people all along, I thought that when Caitlin Clark first went out with the groin injury, I thought that they should shut her down for the season. And for a while, coaches and the management and everybody been really kind of dragging or leading people on to think that Caitlin Clark was going to come back. They even a couple weeks ago they made us thought that she was going to come back against the Dallas Wings. She didn't come back against the Dallas Wings. Then she didn't come back against who else they played that week. It was the Mystics. They didn't play. She didn't come back for the Mystics. Then she didn't come back for what game was that? Connecticut Suns. And once Sophie Cunningham got hurt, I knew it was all but over with for Caitlin Clark. I thought that right there just sealed the deal. The injury to Sophie Cunningham, in my opinion, just sealed the deal. They didn't have their whole host of weapons and everything to finish the season. So I felt like that would right there would even give them more reason to shut Caitlin Clark down for the season. Now you hear that latest reports are Caitlin Clark sustained another injury during a practice, like a workout that they had. Her foot, something with her foot or something, maybe a strain or something like that. So, in my opinion, it's just looking more and more like Caitlin Clark is definitely not coming back this season. And so now, like, where to now for the Indiana Fever? Do you you basically just shut down and give it up, or you just try to regroup and try to finish strong and see what else you can accomplish or get done throughout this season? And in my opinion, I think if I'm Stephanie White, I would really try to see what we can do, make a push for the playoffs, because and I just think that her coaching career, her coaching job is really in jeopardy, right? Even if they don't make the playoffs, and even with all of the injuries that they had, I just think there's so much that has went wrong this season. I don't think that the injury situation can really save her job. So that's why I'm thinking if I'm only thing she can really do to save her job, in my opinion, is to really get these young ladies into the playoffs. And once she get them into the playoffs, then she can make a case to really save her job. But I just think that she's on the hot seat, and I thought that the only thing that could really save her job would be to push for the playoffs. Now they just recently brought in the young lady Odyssey Sims, and I want to take a look though at their schedule. Hold on, let me see if I can bring the Indiana Fever their schedule up and see what do they have. Like what do they have coming going on for the rest of the season? Now their schedule to me don't look. It's Let me see. August 22nd, they have the Minnesota Lynx. So let me see. What do I think? Being shorthanded, I'm be honest. I don't really think they're gonna be able to beat the Minnesota Lynx. Being shorthanded, the Minnesota Lynx right now are 28 wins and 6 losses. Right, so they play them. They play the Minnesota Lynx August 22nd. Then Sunday, August 24th, they play the Minnesota Lynx again. I'm a pencil those two games in for a loss. I think that if all right, so Nafisa Kaya is not there, but still that don't make a difference to me. The Minnesota Lynx is still playing pretty good. And we're coming down, everybody's trying to push hard and finish strong for the playoffs. So, like I said, I think that the Lynx are going to beat them those 2 games. Then we got after that, the Fever have the Seattle Storm. The Seattle Storm's a 500 team. And so I'm going to say that I think that they can beat the Seattle Storms, right? So now you have the Seattle Storms. Now they after that, August 29th, they will be playing the Los Angeles. Let me see, Los Angeles Sparks. Now the Sparks already beat them twice, at least 2 times this season, and it just seemed like the Sparks, although the Sparks have a worse record, the Sparks have a. It's just almost like the Sparks have their number, right? So, ain't really no guarantee that they're gonna be able to beat the Sparks. The schedule is not really favorable for them, but I'm a pencil that in. That could be a win, depending on how Stephanie coached the game. They're gonna really need a big effort from Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston. They really both times that I saw the Sparks beat them, both times they could have really beat the Sparks. August the 31st, they have the Golden State Valkyries, right? Again, I think that's another game that's very winnable for them, to beat the Valkyries. I think they can beat them. Now, September the 2nd, they have the Phoenix Mercury. The Phoenix Mercury. Now, I'm definitely going with the Mercury in that game. And then so you got the Chicago Sky coming in, and they can beat the Sky. They shouldn't have any problems with the Sky, even if the Sky have what's her name? Angel Reese back. I just think that the Sky this year, they just seem unmotivated and they just trying to really just get this season over and done with for the Sky, right? But let me go to I want to go and see the teams. Really like the roster. All right, so let me look at the roster. Like I said, Odyssey Sims. She played good the last game, and I think they're really gonna need our Odyssey to step up. Kelsey Mitchell. Let me see, Natasha Howard. They'll be able to depend on her. Aaliyah Boston. Lexi Hall really needs to step up. Let me see who else. Who else we really counting on here? Chloe Bibby. I'm not now with Chloe Bibby. I don't know why she's not really getting the time, any more time. But now we're coming down. Like I said, this is do or die right now for them. I think that Chloe Bibby should be getting more time, but I don't know. Let me see. Who? Let me see. Carrie Smith. The Sparks keep getting better. Yeah. So I agree with you that the Sparks are getting better. I think that who just recently came back? What's the Brinks? Cameron Brinks came back for the Sparks, and the Sparks are getting better. And even before Cameron came back, like it just seemed to me like the Sparks just had Indiana's number. Every time Kelsey Plum see them, she just light up. So let me see. Las Vegas. What did Curry Smith say? Las Vegas lost the player of the year again. Whoa, 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 whoa. Not Asia Wilson. I know we hold up. We're gonna have to confirm. Now I hope Asia Wilson is not hurt. Let me see. Las Vegas just lost the player of the year again. Yeah, I hope that Asia Wilson not hurt. But I just think that coming down, like I said, the stretch of the season, this is not an easy schedule for them. I see them with picking up at least 3 wins coming down a stretch, maybe 4. Like I said, with the Sparks having their number and and beating them already a couple times this year. Let me see the Las Vegas Sparks wanted the player of the year again, so they are. Oh, okay, yeah. You said the Spark. Oh, he said the Sparks, the Las Vegas Sparks. You mean the Las Vegas Aces want the player of the year again, so they're doing it hard to be. Okay, yeah. I just think that, like I said, so they have 7 games left. Indiana Fever have 7 games left, and I see them taking at least three losses in that coming up. So what's next for the Indiana Fever? Like I said, Stephanie White really don't have any other option but to push hard for the playoffs. She really got to push hard because I think pushing hard for her for the playoffs will save her job. I don't think that she can use the fact that they had a string of injuries, a whole ton of injuries. I don't think that, in my opinion, I don't think that'll be able to save her. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna be able to save her. I think only thing that'll really work in her favor is if they get into the playoffs, even with a not depleted, but with a short with their bench and some of their best players, not being able to be available for them. I think this is tough. But if she ever, this is the time for her to show like what she got as far as, coaching and be able to coach these young ladies up. And so let me see who else. Let me go to check out some more WNBA stuff right here because I think that, like I said, they got the Lynx and the Fever. Let me see teams. How's everybody else looking in there? We got. All right, hold on. Let me go back. Let me get the schedule. Everybody, not just their schedule, but everybody's schedule. I want to see how the Sparks are looking because the Sparks may be able to make it into the playoffs or at least close. Let me see what the WNBA standings are. Let me see how the Sparks are looking. Okay, so the Sparks are 17 and the Sparks are just really out of the playoffs, right? The Sparks do have an opportunity to get into the playoffs. Let me see what Curry said. I think we have to beat the Mercury. Yeah, I think now the Sparks are really only 2 games like out of that last position right there. But one team that I really wouldn't want to see this year in the playoffs, I think would be, in my opinion, be the Las Vegas Aces, right? 22 wins, 14 losses, and they're in position they really, if the playoffs started today, the Aces would be in there. And with Asia Wilson, though, that would be a very dangerous team. That's a team that you really don't want to see going into the playoffs, the Aces. So at the top you have let me say at the top you have the New York Liberty 22. 22-13. Also, you with a 22-13, you got the Atlanta Dream. Now, I like Atlanta, a young team, very exciting to watch. I like Atlanta. Uh, Indiana's still in third place, though, in the East anyway. They're in third place with a 19-16 record, so they holding on. Right behind them is the Washington Mystics. They are 16-19. It's really, though, if you think about where the Fever sit at right now, they're really not looking real bad. I don't think that the Mystics are going to run the table as far as like winning the rest of their games. So, and Chicago is right behind, right out of the playoffs. They're not even in a question, though. I don't think the Mystics, the Washington Mystics are really going to be they 3 games back already from the Fever. So the Fever might be able to just sneak in there or get in there or back their way into the playoffs. But even if they do get into the playoffs, you still gonna be shorthanded. You still don't want to bring Caitlin Clark back. I'm not sure like how serious this foot injury that everybody is talking about as far as Caitlin Clark, how serious that foot injury is. But as far as Caitlin Clark is concerned, they may as well just go ahead and shut it down. What they've been doing all season long, though, Indiana, is just really just, in my opinion, just baiting everybody along, making everybody think that, there was a possibility for her to come back. But for some reason, I never really bought into that. I thought that maybe it would have been a better idea just to shut her down. But when you have somebody like Caitlin Clark who just brings so many people to the league and to the games and stuff like that, she's a big draw. So of course they will drag that out and make people think that Caitlin Clark was coming back. But I didn't think so with a groin injury. And once she didn't come back last week, I just knew it was over with. I thought it was a very small chance that Caitlin Clark would come back. And so let me see. Also, let me see what I'm gonna do here. Like I said, I was gonna talk about some other things, but I'm just really probably just gonna stick to WNBA. I do have a WNBA trivia question. Let me see. All right, so this is the WNBA trivia question. Who was the first player to sign an official WNBA contract? Right. So if you know the answer, just type it in the chat. And this really surprised me. Once somebody put it in the chat, who they think that the first WNBA player was to officially sign a contract. I want to talk about who I thought it was. Like when I first heard this question, I thought it was somebody else. Then I saw this lady give an interview, and not only was she not the first to sign the contract, but she said she was like the number 8 or 9, the 8th or the 9th person that the WNBA was looking forward to bringing into the league when they first started up. I think they started up in '97. The WNBA they started back up. But as soon as you figure this question out, just type it in the chat, and we can talk about who I thought it was. Because I got this question wrong. Yeah. Well, nobody have it right now. Nobody's on it right now. But so what do you think? What do you think the Indiana Fever next move should be, though? They bought in Odyssey Sims. Odyssey Sims is, she's serviceable, and she's not really. Odyssey Sims is not really like if the Indiana Fever had if they had their pick, like Odyssey Sims would not be like somebody that like she's only there because of the emergency situation or the dire straits that that they're in. Other than that, Odyssey Sims to me is not a fit for this team. But under the circumstances, I think that Odyssey Sims can be a complement to Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston. Odyssey Sims, let me see, where's she out of? I think she's out of Baylor University. I think she was at Baylor. That's where she played her college ball. But basically, Odyssey Sims was, she was home on the couch, just just chilling until she got the call. Now she's in the league, hoping that she can make the best of the situation and work her way back in. I think Odyssey Sims is like 30, 32, 33 years old. So now let me ask you, who was the first player, the first WNBA player to sign an official WNBA contract? So if you know, put it in the chat. Let me know if you know who the first person was to sign in the WNBA contract. And I think that was in 97, even 97 or 98. But like I said, let me repeat. I think that Stephanie White really needs to get this team into the playoffs and do well, even with a depleted roster that they have. Because I do think that Stephanie White, in my opinion, I think that she's on the hot seat. I think that even though, there's so many injuries and everything to the team, that's not an excuse I think that Stephanie White will be able to fall back on. Let me see. The last game of the regular season is the Las Vegas Aces at the Sparks. Okay, so the Aces will play the Sparks for the last game. Yeah. Let me see. All right. So, yeah, but with that being said, so the Aces will be playing the Sparks for their last game. I just don't think that the Sparks are going to make it to the playoffs. I don't. And so Hope says Sue Bird. No, Hope. Sue Bird was not the first player to sign a WNBA contract. But I'll give you a clue. This person has been, the last year or two, has been catching a lot of flack for being seen as a Caitlin Clark hater. I can say a Caitlin Clark hater. She's not like somebody who's a big fan of Caitlin Clark. So that's a clue right there. And I was surprised too that she was the first person to sign a WNBA contract. Yeah, you got it. Yep. Sheryl Swoopes. So look, when Sheryl Swoopes signed to the Houston Comets, she was number 1, right? She was the first pick. But originally, when I first heard, saw this question, let me see, where's the question at again? Okay, when I first saw the question, I thought it was Cynthia Cooper. Cynthia Cooper was the first player to come to mind. I knew it couldn't be. Let me see. I knew it couldn't be Lisa Leslie, because Lisa Leslie came. The league had already started, I think, when Lisa Leslie, I think, was still in college. What's the other young lady? Rebecca Lobo. I didn't think that it was Rebecca Lobo. I thought it was Sheryl Swoopes, though. I mean, I thought it was Cynthia Cooper, but it wound up being Sheryl Swoopes. And so, yeah, man, that was a little bit of a trivia. It was Sheryl Swoopes. Sheryl Swoopes been catching some flack for the last couple of years for hating on Caitlin Clark. Wow, that's cool though, being the first overall player to sign a WNBA contract. That's some good stuff right there. But people in the chat, let me know, what do you think should be the next move for the Indiana Fever? Should they not really tank so they can get a high draft choice, but should they really push? How hard should they push for the playoffs though? With Stephanie White could be on a hot seat. She could be on her way out if if they don't really show any promise with this roster that she has left over, I think that Stephanie White really could be on the hot seat. So if I'm Stephanie White, I'm pulling all the tricks out. I'm pulling all the tricks out if I'm Stephanie White. Going down fighting. Gotta go down fighting. And so, like I said, I had some other things that I was going to talk about, and maybe I should go into this just so I can get people's thoughts and opinions on these different topics. While we let me see, what did I have here? Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to talk about was this. I saw an article. Where was this article? I'm not sure where this article was at, and I didn't even know it was true until I looked it up. But the Minnesota Vikings have two guys who are on the roster as cheerleaders, and so I just wanted people's thoughts and opinions on what do you think about male cheerleaders in the NFL? Like, do you think it's a it's a good thing or a not so good thing, or do you think it's like a non-issue, really? Now, in my opinion, I don't know how I don't really agree with it. I know that like in college they have cheerleaders, right? And so the guys who are cheerleaders in college, they're there really to assist the female cheerleaders, like with I don't know, I guess acrobats and stuff like that to lift them up and do things like that. But these cheerleaders are different than the cheerleaders that you would see in college. And so that's why I just wanted people's opinions. This is new to me. They said that the NFL has always had male cheerleaders, but I never knew that this is my first time becoming aware of the fact that the NFL has male cheerleaders. And so now, and as a matter of fact, Minnesota Vikings are really catching a lot of flack for this. A lot of people are pushing back on the idea of male cheerleaders and things like that. I read an article also earlier too about one team had you know what, and I should have saved it so I could, but one team had a transgender cheerleader, and this cheerleader refused to this cheerleader just quit the team and decided not to be a part of the team of like a couple weeks before before the season started. So I don't know like what the agenda is with the NFL. Like what are they trying to do? Um Really when most of the time I guess when you watch football on TV, you don't really be paying no attention to the cheerleaders anyway. I guess if you go to the game, then you'll see, the male cheerleaders and stuff like that. But other than that, I don't see any I don't see any reason to add, male cheerleaders to football, to football teams. Let me see. Let me do a score check now. The Pittsburgh Steelers are beating. Yeah, they just went up 13-10 over the Carolina Panthers in this preseason game. Yep. But yeah, man. Like I said, if I'm Stephanie White and I'm the Indiana Fever, definitely got to make a strong push for the playoffs. Try to make do everything Stephanie White can do to keep her job. Stephanie White really has been under a lot of pressure. People really have been questioning some of her her coaching moves, her coaching decisions. Let me see. The Fever should get Bree Hall, the 20th pick that they let go earlier and had played good overseas. Bree Hall. Bree Hall out of let me see. Bree Hall played with South Carolina. Yeah, man. I was disappointed to see Bree Hall get cut. And let me see. Yeah, I was disappointed to see Bree Hall get cut. I think Bree Hall would make a good addition to the Indiana Fever. I like Bree Hall, her defense. Like Bree Hall plays really good defense. She's a two-way player. I think offensively she's a little bit limited, but I like Bree Hall. She could help out defensively, absolutely. For the Fever. Let me see what Carrie Smith also says that there could be male cheerleaders, but not dressed up as women. See, Carrie, I agree with you, right? Like I said, with the cheerleaders, like when you see cheerleaders in college, they're dressed up. They're not dressed up as women. They dressed up as guys. They more so look like somebody the guys you would see like in the like doing gymnastics or something like that. Like when you watch the Olympics or something like that. And so, but yeah, when you see the guys dressed as women, I agree with you. I think it's not what you do. I think it's how you do it. I don't have anything against like male cheerleaders, but yeah, when they out there presenting themselves and dressing just like women, I just think it just gives a different it's just different. And like I said, people in Minnesota and around the league are really just pushing against it. They're catching a lot of flack for it. And it's not it's the way you present it, I think, is more so of an issue than what is them being male. I think that's the way it's presented causes more of an issue. But let me go to another let me see if I have another question. That was Cheryl Swoops was the answer to my first trivia question. All right, so let me see if y'all know this trivia question. Who was the first woman to coach a team to an NCAA championship? And I got this wrong too. I got this one wrong also. Who was the first woman to coach a team to an NCAA championship? This was one I got wrong too. I don't know why. I mean, let me see. Let me see what Curry Smith said. They might have to go through transition like Bud Light. I don't know what that means. Let me see. Curry Smith says that they might have to go through the transition like Bud Light. Yeah. So again, who was the first woman to coach a team to an NCAA championship? This is one I got wrong also. And I'll give you a hint. It was not Pat Summitt. That's what I said the first time, when I came up with this question. I was like, oh, it must be Pat Summitt. Wasn't Pat Summitt. Was not Pat Summitt at all. Let me see. All right. But I do want to know people in the chat, I do want to know your thoughts about where do the Fever go from here? No Ari McDonald, no Caitlin Clark, no Sophie Cunningham. They just brought on Odyssey Sims. They still do have two of their big three. They have Aaliyah Boston. They have Kelsey Mitchell. They have Natasha Howard. They still have Natasha Howard. They have what's the other young lady? I just named her. But where do you think they go from here? Like, will they be able to make a strong push for the playoffs? I just really think that they, I don't think it's over with for them, but I do think that because how this schedule is for them, like I said, this schedule is going to be just a tough schedule. Minnesota Lynx, 2 times, Seattle Storm. Seattle is not a walk in the park. Then you have the Sparks. Like I said, the Sparks already beat them 2 times this season. The Valkyries, that's another game that won't be a walk in the park. I think that'll be a good game though with the Valkyries. That's August the 31st. I think that'll be a good game. Then you got the Phoenix Mercury. That's gonna be a tough call, for them. Only sure victory I think right now that they have on their schedule, like for sure victory would be the Sky, the Chicago Sky. Like the Chicago Sky just look like they done packed it in. Let me see, what is this right here? All right, so the Chicago Sky, they got the Washington Mystics. That's not a gimme. That's not a gimme at all. September the 9th. Let me see. Then they got the Lynx again. Yeah, that's not gonna be it's not gonna be a walk in the park, I'm telling you. All right. Roster, stats, standings. Let me look at the standings right now. So here we go. New York. Minnesota Lynx 28 and 6. 8 and 2 in their last. The Minnesota Lynx are 8 and 2 in their last 10 games. New York Liberty kind of falling. Like, what's going on with the New York Liberty? They're still 22 and 13, right? Ahead of the Atlanta Dreams, but they 5 and 5 in their last 10 games. And they just recently beat the Minnesota Lynx. But that was that's without Napheesa Collier, right? So let me see. Then you got the Atlanta Dream. They 22 and 13. Now, I just recently watched the Atlanta Dream beat the Las Vegas Aces, and they look good. The Atlanta Dream look good. Phoenix Mercury, they tough with Alyssa Thomas. Some people think that Alyssa Thomas will win that MVP. I'm not sure, but they are 6 and 4 in their last 10 games. The Las Vegas Aces, though, they seem to be on fire. 22 and 14, but they're 9 and 1 in their last 10 games. And you know what? And so when I first looked at their record, I was like 22 and 14, 9 and 1. Not too long ago, they were like a little bit below 500, but they just caught fire. The Las Vegas Aces caught fire, and next thing you know, they 9 and 1 in their last 10 games. And so at the number 6 spot, again, you had the Indiana Fever, 19 and 16, 6 and 4, which 6 and 4 in your last 10, that's respectable. So, everything hasn't fallen apart. Then you have the Valkyries at the number 7 position at 18 wins, 17 losses. They're also 6 and 4 in their last 10 games. After that, you had the Seattle, Seattle Storm. They are 18 and 18 that's a 500 record, and they 3 and 7. Now the Seattle Storm, in my opinion, I think the Seattle Storm are a very dangerous team just because they have some veterans on there that are really, that are seasoned. So, but as it stands right now, they're not in the playoffs. But if they do get in the playoffs, the Seattle Storms could be very, they could be a tough out. Los Angeles Sparks are 17 and 18, 6 and 4 in their last 10 games. Again, I think the Los Angeles Sparks, if they get in, they could be very dangerous with Kelsey Plum. I like Kelsey Plum. She, was with the Aces, and they won a couple championships, while she was there. So she can be a definite, they can be a definite threat. Then they have, let me see. The young lady, Cameron Brink, just came back from, a couple games ago from injury. Washington Mystics, let me see what the Washington Mystics, their record is 16 and 19, and they are 4 and 6 in their last 10 games. The Dallas Wings. Now the Dallas Wings are my team. That's my team, but they're not really looking too good. They are 1-9 in their last 10 games. Then you got the Connecticut Suns. They are 3-7 in their last 10 games. So still looking good though. Let me see what who is Juliana Stitch Sit. No, nope, that's not the right answer though. Carrie Smith, that's not the right answer. Let me see. Again, let me repeat the question. Who was the first woman to coach a team to an NCAA championship? And so, yeah, that wasn't. Yeah, nah, Carrie, that's not the right answer though. Julie Ann Sitch. Nope, wasn't her. I thought, like I said, I don't know why I thought it was what's the lady name? From what was the lady from? I just said her name. I'm watching this football game. Good play, Pittsburgh Steelers. I thought it was Pat Summitt, but it wasn't Pat Summitt. It definitely wasn't Pat Summitt. But yeah, man. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how the Indiana Fever handle the rest of this season. You know, I wouldn't throw in the towel though if I'm Indiana. But what I would do if I was Indiana, just go ahead and be honest with the fans and stop, just leading the fans on, making them think that. Let me see. Carrie, let me see what Carrie says. Chicago Sky just beat the New York Liberty 91-85. Thanks for the update. You know what? What's going on with the Liberty? Now I know that Breonna Stewart is out, but still ain't no excuse for that. There ain't no excuse for the Sky, being losing to the Sky 91-85. That is crazy. Yeah, I appreciate that, Carrie. That is fresh off the press. I appreciate that. I was looking. I couldn't find. I didn't know that there was any WNBA games this evening. I was looking for it too. That's fresh. You're right. That is fresh off the press. So, all right. So the Chicago Sky just beat the New York Liberty 91-85. Man, what's going on with the Liberty? Even with Breonna Stewart out, that's not. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. So I'm watching these Pittsburgh Steelers play the Panthers, right? And I'm thinking, I want to see. I can't wait till the regular season start because I want to get a look at Aaron Rodgers. I want to see what Aaron Rodgers do out there and how he look with the Steelers. Although I'm not a Steelers fan, but I do think the way that the Steelers are set up, like their defense, they had a really good defense, a solid defense. They always have a solid run game. So Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion, won't be asked to do too much. Right. And so if you don't really need Aaron Rodgers to do a lot and he can work and operate within the framework of the team concept, then I think the Pittsburgh Steelers will probably be able to make some noise. Now that don't really to me that don't really. Let me see. Dallas is out. So that really don't bode well for the Ravens though, because the Steelers always play my Ravens. They always play them tough, no matter who's at quarterback. They always play the Ravens tough. So yeah, definitely always play the Ravens tough. So let me go back to this trivia question. Who was the first woman to coach a team to an NCAA championship? Another person I want to see this year too. I want to see what is it? The first round draft. What's his name? Travis Hunter. I want to see Travis Hunter. I did see a little bit of him in one preseason game, but again, I'm waiting for the season to start. So I want to see if he's really going to play both ways, which I don't think is a good idea. I don't, for his longevity, it's different playing in college, but when you try to play both ways in the NFL and log a lot of minutes, I don't think that's a good idea. I really don't. I really don't. So I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes, then I'm gonna get off of here. See if somebody can get the answer to this question. And let me see. But I want everybody to make sure to like and subscribe. And also don't forget to leave a comment. I think I'm gonna start going live more often. Let me see what Curry Smith says here. The sky is out, but still doing damage. Yeah, I mean, they can definitely, in some situations, play the spoiler role. They can definitely play the spoiler role and affect the seeding when it comes to playoff seeding. That's why, like I said, for the New York Liberty to lose to the Sky, even though the Sky even though the Liberty have a good record, you really want to finish the season strong, because you don't want to go up against a tougher team than is necessary. You want your path through the playoffs and into the championship. You want that to be as easy as possible. So you don't want to make your road to the championship any tougher than is necessary. So I definitely agree with you, Kerry. No doubt. I definitely agree with you. So Jack Sawyer. Who is Jack Sawyer for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Oh, he's a linebacker. Number 39 is it number 33. This guy looked pretty good for the Steelers. The Steelers are known for having really good linebackers, though. Number 33, I'm gonna look out for this guy, because if he play like this throughout the season, then you put him next to Watt. Doggone it. Steelers always Jack Sawyer, number 33, outside linebacker. Yeah, that kid looked good. He looked good too. So I wonder what was Angel Reese, what her numbers look like then if the Sky beat the Liberty. All right, so I've been on here for almost an hour. I'm ready to pack it in. Like I said, everybody, just make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And here goes all right, who was the first woman to coach a team to an NCAA championship? And the answer is Jody Conrad. Right? Jody Conrad was the first woman to coach the first woman to coach a team to an NCAA championship. Jody Conrad. I got that question wrong too. I thought it was Pat Summitt. I don't know why I was thinking Pat Summitt. That was way before Pat Summitt time. But yeah, that's all I have for right now. Let me see. I appreciate you, Curry Smith, for contributing to the live chat. Hopefully you subscribe to the channel. And with that being said, everybody else who tuned in, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And I'm out. I'll probably be back tomorrow, Friday night, and hopefully there's some games on, and we can talk about the games too as the games go, as the games going on. I think Yeah, I know the Fever play tomorrow. I think the Fever play the Link. So yeah, hopefully, y'all tune back in tomorrow and we can talk about the Lynx. And I want to see how this young lady Odyssey Sims look. Her first game with the Fever, she looked pretty good. So yeah, I want to see how she looked. And with that being said, man, let me see what else. No, it wasn't Carolyn Peck. Carolyn Peck, I like Caroline Peck, right? She coached, where she coached at? She coached at Purdue. And I think she won a championship at Purdue. Who was one of her players? As a matter of fact, Stephanie White was one of Carolyn Peck's players. Yeah, yeah, Carolyn Peck. One of her players was Stephanie White, the coach for the Indiana Fever. So they are pretty close. Those two, Carolyn Peck out of Purdue, Boilermaker. It wasn't her though. But what I say? Let me put up the answer again. It's this young lady. This lady here, Judy Conrad. Jody, I'm sorry, not Judy. Jody Conrad was the first woman to coach a team to a NCAA championship. So like let me see. Yeah, Carrie Smith, man, I appreciate you for tuning in and participating in the chat. Hopefully you'll tune back in tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow evening around the same time, about 8 o'clock, 8:30. I want everybody to make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. Let me know what you think the Indiana Fever should do, or how they're going to make out in these playoffs, man. If they should just go all in with what they have. And with that being said, I'll check you all out tomorrow around 8 o'clock, 8:30. Peace.